Hey everyone, just a short review today. It's December 31st, and I thought I would try to do one more review before the year is over. I just finished up A Town Called Hate by George G. Gilman, which is Edge number 13. This was the first Edge novel that I've read, and I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I picked this series because I'd heard it was a particularly violent series. And on that front, it certainly didn't disappoint. This is by far the most violent Western novel I've read. The story follows Edge, who is a kind of a drifter character. He's a violent anti-hero. He's always out for number one. And something that people don't really seem to mention that much is that Edge always has like one-liner quips and dad jokes, especially if someone dies. He'll have some sort of ironic comment to make. It really reminded me of a cheesy 80s action movie in that sense, like Commando. So in this novel, Edge goes to a new town, Hate, and Hate is run by Corners, who is kind of a bully and acts basically as judge, jury, and executioner in this town. So then the full novel is essentially just the rivalry between Edge and Corners, and the townspeople trying to convince Edge to help the town out and try to get rid of Corners. Now, the big problem with this novel is, did that concept really have enough steam to go through 120 pages? It's basically just two tough guys up against each other. There's very little mystery or intrigue at the start of the novel. So just to do a little comparison, I recently read Drift by Marshall Grover. This is a similarly pulpy read, not as violent as Edge. In Drift, the setup is basically that they've got to get an important witness to a courtroom in time for them to give evidence at a trial. And we know that all the gangsters are going to try to stop the witness. Basically, there's foreshadowing in the novel. We know that there's going to be a climactic scene at the courtroom when this trial actually occurs. In Edge, is there this kind of foreshadowing? The reader isn't really given anything to look forward to. Aside from, we know that these two characters are going to butt heads. Is that enough to sustain a novel, even a short 120-page one? Personally, I don't think so. I think you've got to give people a little bit more mystery, a little bit more intrigue. A criticism people often have of the Edge series as well is that it can come off as quite misogynistic. Apparently, that's a real problem in Edge number 2. I remember Jeff from Jeff's Cave of Cool Books talking about that. And it's especially a problem in that book because it becomes obvious that Edge is an awful person himself in how he treats women. Now, there is some misogynistic stuff in this book, but I noticed that Gilman seemed very careful. Whenever there's a character that makes sexist comments, it's always in a large crowd, and it's always just, oh, someone said this. So it's like none of our main characters are really to blame for this kind of thing. It's just sort of the atmosphere of the book. And you're not having the main protagonist, Edge, say anything particularly bad. So keep that in mind if you read these kinds of books. It does still seem to be there, but maybe not as strong as in number 2, for example. The best scene in this book is right at the end. It's an excellent, gory action set piece. The very best moments are in the last 2 or 3 pages. But the book as a whole didn't have enough forward momentum to make it really good. So yeah, some mixed thoughts on this one. Was it a great book? No. Was it memorable? Certainly in its violence and its dad joke puns, it's very memorable. It's unique. And I am interested in checking out some more George Gilman. All right, that's it for this review. If you like Westerns, I'm going to show off a whole bunch of Westerns tomorrow. I've got a giant stack of books here that I want to go through. So yeah, stick around if that sounds appealing to you. Hopefully everyone has a nice New Year celebration, and I'll see you all in 2026. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.